Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Here's Jay. Good afternoon to everybody out there. This is Jay Kaplan, and this is the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490, where we contemplate retirement and how to best stay prepared for retirement and how to best stay successfully retirement. Well, this is my first time. It's my second time back, but the first time back for the entire show. So I'm likely to get a little wordy, but we'll be, Sean, our engineer, has a hook ready to pull me off whenever need be. So let me repeat what I said at the start of last week's show. Let's be thankful we have friends, and let's stay talking to them. And I am so happy to have you listeners, and thank you so very much for sticking with this show while I have been out on the sidelines. You are very, very appreciated. I also want to thank Sean, our engineer, for doing so much to help while I have been gone. I really missed all of you and missed the activity, really, of doing the show. Here's my little ad here. Please call, email, or visit www.drhecm.drhackham.com, or for us more long-winded people, theeducatedretirementradio.com. You can always just email me. bestloantoday@gmail.com. If you email me or I find out these things like, oh my God, your phone number or anything, I will not be bugging you, believe me. Okay, so just go to my website. I said, slide about halfway down and you'll see YouTube channel with all of the shows. Give a couple days for it to get loaded up. All the old shows, little snippets of shows, and anything I might think is interesting. And also, I have separate sections of just the guest if you had enough of me for a while. So, 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. Knowledge is power. When it comes to the heck'em, first know the facts, compare the numbers. It's much too important an issue to ignore, and you certainly don't want to eliminate it based on not fully understanding it. Remember that equity availability programs like this are not a belief system. It's not a religion. It's not math. It's flexibility and security that is much warmer than anything math could give you. But we are getting ready to get going. Oh, we want to remind us that I had that contest last week about my beard, and if you're watching on Facebook, I'm using one of those things that's got a completely fake beard on me that's turquoise and purple, but that's okay. We had that contest for a $50 gift certificate, and before I announced who the winner was, and we did have a winner, there were a few people that called in, and it is overwhelming. Well, it can't be overwhelming with a few people, but anyway, it's keep the beard. Now, I just was never sure of why. It looked to me like it's a bigger hassle, and since it's all white, just like my hair, I would look just all white. But, I've come to the conclusion that maybe that all white covers some ugliness, and maybe that's why it looks better. But I thought some of it was kind of darkening, so I took a closer look, and it was actually just yesterday's lunch. But I guess that happens with beards. Another thing I need to keep a lookout for. But the winner was Jackie Ott. Jackie Ott won the $50 gift certificate, and if she has not yet received it, she should, because it went out in the mail pretty quickly. And just in case you didn't think this program was being listened to worldwide, Jackie lives in Turlock, and so there, anybody that thinks this is a local program. So my day job, I'm just going to skip some of this ad stuff, get rolling. The day job, which you hope I have, and I guess I hope I do too. I am a loan officer at the Loan Source, with an NMLS number of 384565 and a Department of Real Estate. I remember I do not sell real estate, but I can sure hook you up with who does for your area, because each area needs somebody probably a little bit different. But my Department of Real Estate number is 792-630. And remember, on this show, we do believe in challenging the status quo. Families and people need to be active, not reactive. So what is today? What is today, by the way? It is National Food Truck Day. So remember, I'm a little bit older, so for me it means the old roach coach. Remember, Sean, are you old enough to remember that term, roach coach?
Yep, sure do.
All right, that's good. And I love the greasy burgers and such. I just love that stuff. Now it's a big time industry, television shows, and overall I think that's a great thing, since it does allow all of us to be able to sample so many more people's creative cooking, where in the old days I'm sure they would buy everything prepackaged and just heat it up for you. So there are some great food trucks in the past. Helms and the Wienermobile definitely come to mind, but they're not exactly food trucks. But you could buy off the Helms truck. I know my mother did all the time. And of course there's ice cream trucks, and those are still around. And as a little kid, I used to buy off them, and I still think they look good. And there is something called the Space Shuttle Cafe that I think was just recently retired, if at all. It was on Huell Hauser and all that. I got a picture of it anyway. Let's take a look at that picture. So I think it was built from not the space shuttle itself, but from some parts of airplanes and things like that. So anyway, that's one good thing about our past. So with that, let's go ahead and take a break. I've got a great guest for you today, who you'll probably already know. We're going to talk about food, Inland Empire food, and etc. Alan Borgen. Take care. We'll see you in a moment. PTA Radio, the Mighty Met. And just a quick reminder, www.drheckham.com. That's drhecm.com. And call me anytime, all the time, even now, but I won't answer right now because I'm on the radio. 866-955-2233. Oh, just in case, let me show that to you here. I think that's good. Okay, now, today's birthday, you know we like birthdays, Peter Lorre. And here's a good picture of Peter before we get rolling too much more. I think I'm holding it right. I'm trying to hold things up a little higher than I used to. I see I held up my phone number too high, but I'll get to, because there's a delay. But anyway, there's Peter for you. And Peter was actually born Laszlo Lowenstein. And he starred in over 48 films, and starting in Germany with his very famous film of M, a Fritz Lang film. And that was 1931, and I found a Criterion version of it and actually watched it yesterday. And great photography in that style that, you know. His first English-speaking film was 1934's Hitchcock, The Man Who Knew Too Much. And I have almost like a show and tell thing here, so I don't. There it is, Laserdisc, but that's the old one. And because there was a new one, Hitchcock redid that film in 1956 with Doris Day and James Stewart. Peter Lorre and Sidney Greenstreet co-starred in 9 films together until they decided to break up so as not to become a dramatic Abbott and Costello. I don't see anything wrong with that. I wish they had really done more. I do enjoy that kind of thing. But anyway, he once said the same kind of thing I would probably say, That is, for a lazy man, I work awfully hard. And he also commented that, anyway, I'm looking for, no, right there, Kathleen, please. He also commented, I'm sorry, my helper here. She's usually outer space stuff, and she keeps flicking the light on and off too, but hopefully that makes it interesting. Anyway, back to my thing. He said once about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, he said that the giant octopus got the role usually reserved for him, or for me, is what he actually said. So there's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Here's some Sidney Greenstreet kind of stuff that he did, obviously. This actually, disc set has 3 versions of the same movie. So if you don't know what that is, take a look. And here's an older one. These are great old sets, but at least they're big pictures. The one in here, Mad Love, was he in anything else on here? No, but there's some good ones there. Okay. So, one thing today on Turner Classic Movies, I was watching, just getting ready for this, because I think I've said before, I really enjoy getting ready for the shows when we do this part of it, because the second half I do let the guest run away with it, because that's who we want to hear from. But, I really enjoy going into the history and things like that. So it's some of the best times we have together, my wife and I, especially now that we're not going anywhere. Anyway, so when I woke up in the middle of the night, I saw on Turner, because I guess it's birthday, they're playing Peter Lorre movies all day, Stranger on the Third Floor. Now, I don't think a lot of people know about that film. It's kind of a small film. I don't think very well known, but it's got some great dream sequences, and I really like it, so see if you can find it. But this morning, like I was saying, while we were putting this thing together, I learned something completely new, and it just blowed me away. It was a film called, I can never remember, Scent of Mystery. That's what it said it was. And it started out as Scent of Mystery. It was produced by Michael Todd and even features his wife, Elizabeth Taylor, who has a great big, I think 6 seconds at the end, maybe 8, but there she is starring in it. It was originally released as Scent of Mystery and was the first film to offer Aroma-Rama. And believe it or not, that was something that not even William Castle had. No, not even. And of course, John Waters had those scratch and smell cards. I think I told you I have a Criterion version of Pink Flamingos, I think it is, that has a scratch and sniff card in it. They would put little colors on the screen, and you would scratch the colored patch, and away you would go. But this Aroma-Rama actually blew a certain aroma into the theater. Anyways, it was released. It came back as, I better do this instead. Well, it doesn't quite work. But came back called Holiday in Spain as a Cinerama production, believe it or not. I guess Cinerama was looking for some new material, and that's what happened. And I guess that's too when all those other people got it. It kind of reminds me of, if you're looking around the world in 80 days, how at the end it gave all of the credits. It's got that to it. It's got sit down entry music. It's got intermission music, and you can really tell how Mike Todd had a lot to do with it when it turned into a Cinerama film. But I was completely blown away by all of that. But as you know, I get blown away pretty easily. So, who else has a birthday today? One of my all-time great directors, Paul Thomas Anderson. And before we really get into Paul, and the great films that he's left us with or given us, or, you know, he ain't gone yet. He popped in 1970, so he's just a kid. But I want to talk about somebody that's really, really almost more interesting and says a lot about where the talent of Paul Thomas Anderson came from. His father was named Ernie Anderson and was the voice of ABC, a lot of the ABC programs. He was a disc jockey and an actor, and most importantly, was a character named Ghoulardi. Ghoulardi, the precursor to Elvira and Svengoolie. Except for those of us who are so old that we are old enough to remember Vampira. Now, just in case you're not familiar with Svengoolie, first of all, if you're not familiar with Svengoolie, what happened to your culture? Okay? Now, I have a lot of old people friends who watch this, and some young ones too. Svengoolie is on MeTV, and MeTV has a lot of the older stuff, but still, he's on there all the time. And like I said, late night horror B-movie presenter in Cleveland, Ohio, who is known to say certain things like, this movie is so bad you should just go to bed. He made fun of a lot of targets, non-hip targets such as Lawrence Welk. And there is Lawrence Welk. Oh, look at that. Let me see if anyway, I just happened to find that and play it. It's pretty neat. It's whatever, we can talk about it another time. Decorating front lawns with pink flamingos, and I think I'm going long here on pink flamingos, so we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a minute, and I got to speed up the way I talk, so have a good time, and see you in a minute or two. All right, here we are again, and I got to slip through. There's a picture of Ghoulardi, and I've got a bunch of stuff to show, but I'm probably going to skip most of it. Now, Jim Jarmusch, who you may or may not be aware of, I certainly am, who watched Ghoulardi as a child, was greatly influenced by the attitude of the show, selections of the movies, and the weird music. So, I don't know if you remember Stranger Than Paradise. Many of us do. It was kind of a breakout film for him and featured John Lurie and the Lounge Lizards. And one of the last shows of Anthony Bourdain featured John Lurie, looking so much older, as he should, as a major factor in the history of Greenwich Village. I kind of took that personally and really enjoyed that. I'm going to show you as soon as we get them out. Please, here's a couple of Lounge Lizards albums that I have and have had, and I'm going to show you that's what he used to look like, and that's what he does look like, but so be it. I'll show you some other stuff if we have time at the end, but PTA, as he's called, Paul Thomas Anderson, started making movies with his video camera at 8 years old, then on to 8mm. He used money earned by cleaning cages and pet stores to put on his first real film production in high school. Films such as Boogie Nights was 1997, and that kind of harkens back to his high school movie we just mentioned, named The Dirk Diggler Story. A documentary, or a mockumentary actually, about a porn star inspired by John Holmes, just like Boogie Nights. And he grew up, after all, in San Fernando Valley. Cigarettes and Coffee, 1993, was made for $10,000 from gambling winnings, his birthday's contribution, his girlfriend's contributions, and money that his father had set aside for his college. There Will Be Blood, we all seem to remember. I thought it was a great film, and I read a couple articles getting ready for this that called that the best movie of the 21st century, and I don't even think we're done with the 21st century yet. He also did Phantom Thread, The Master, Inherent Vice, which I gotta really recommend. I loved the movie, and it's hard to find a lot of other people that have even heard of it. And I think it was really a towering vision of the Los Angeles and Hollywood of that period, featuring a great performance by Joaquin Phoenix, who also did a great job in one of PTA's other film, The Master. And I think I may have said this before, but, we stayed my wife and I went to see a UFO film, and we stayed at the Ace Hotel downtown LA, and they have turntables and records in the rooms, and I found this. That was my first I had already seen the movie, so I really enjoyed that. I asked them how much I could buy it for. They gave it to me. I found this one at a regular record store afterwards with such things as sukiyaki from that period of time. And I think us oldies remember that one. So that is about as much time as we want to leave now before getting a hold of our great guest, Alan Borgen. And with that, I will sign off with that. And Sean, take it away when you like.
You